Well, folks, things are about to get super exciting really quickly in the world of Nintendo Switch 2. I haven't been this excited headed into a video in some time. Now, we've had some pretty amazing leaks and all this stuff happening with games and 3D scans according to D-Brand and all these accessories, and we have a good idea what the system looks like, maybe even what the dock looks like, although I think a lot of the dock mock-ups out there are a little bit off, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter because what matters is when is this system being revealed? Now, we know the official word from Nintendo was, hey, or I should say was, it still is, that they are going to have an announcement related to the platform by the end of March. So by the end of the fiscal year, March 31st. All right, we already know that, right? That's been known. But we've been trying to narrow down when it's going to be revealed this entire time. And you've already seen it in the title, so there's no spoiler warning here. It's being revealed in January. We're going to go over why it's being revealed in January, who is saying it, what I might know about it, and more. We actually have another story tied in with this because we have some stuff going on at certain retail that Nintendo is supposedly interacting with that might give us an idea of when it's also going to be coming out. Remember, we have some stuff out there for that already. We'll dive into it in a moment. But before we do, I want to remind you that we are on our road to 140,000 subscribers. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here and enjoying this ride with me. I'm so hyped for Nintendo Switch 2. This is my first ever console launch for Nintendo where I have an audience and I get to celebrate this with people. And I'm so excited because I've never had fellow Nintendo fans to do this with. So thank you for joining me on this journey as we head to Nintendo Switch 2 and beyond. So, yeah, Metro Prime 4 Beyond, throwing a little reference in there. Also, Pokemon Legends, yay, and a bunch of other stuff we already know are coming. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. Boom, Nintendo Talk. That's right, co-host of the Nintendo Byte podcast comes in and says, source, Nintendo has to reveal Nintendo Switch 2 in January, or Nintendo will be revealing Nintendo Switch 2 in January. This is coming from a major, and I emphasize this, major third-party developer contact I have. Here's what they say about the console. Get ready to play modern AAA offerings on your Nintendo system in 2025. Now, look, we already have heard things about like Witcher 4, and sure, here's a little correction in the last video. I mentioned Mafia, the new country, as like a game where like the prior one was on Switch. I do apologize. Mafia, especially, for some reason I thought the Mafia, the Definitive Edition, came over to Switch, but I was incorrect on that point. I actually played that over on PC. So I do apologize for that. We don't know if Mafia, the new country, is coming over, although I think it will be, but we don't know for sure. But what I can say is obviously that in our last video, we were talking about Witcher 4 and other stuff being, Imran Khan throwing that out there. Well, here, Nintendo Talk is throwing out January, and he's saying it comes from a major third-party developer contact he has. Now, this is where things get a little interesting because this would just be a rumor, right? A rumor of it being revealed in January, and we've already had some January rumors. There's no rumor in the title or the thumbnail. Here's why. I can corroborate what Nintendo Talk is saying with my own independent source from his that told me the system would be revealed before we got to February. You throw in his January from a major third-party partner. I heard from a completely different major third-party partner than he did. Again, I'm not going to reveal anything about this stuff, but I'm just going to throw out there that I can corroborate this. So with the ability to corroborate this, and I wasn't going to even say anything about it, but then he went public with what he knew. And so since he went public, I might as well throw the corroboration out there as well. So yes, Nintendo Switch 2 will be revealed in January. That is the current present information with major third-party partners with Nintendo. It will be revealed in January 2025. Let that sink in, everybody. It will be revealed, baby. Oh, I'm so excited. I finally get to actually say it out loud. Oh, man, that's really great. Now. This isn't the only thing that we have to talk about today because a lot of you guys want to know, hey, all right, the reveal is cool. Even if it wasn't revealed in January, it's obviously revealed in February or March. When's this damn thing coming out? And for that, I could say no. I don't actually know. I don't have any information. I don't think Nintendo Talk does either on when the system's going to come out. That doesn't mean there's not some information out there. Now, we all know about a report that we did a week or so ago from Nate the Hate on his podcast where he put out there that he was told about a Switch 2 related event happening in May. He speculated that event could be a January 2017 style blowout event, and that he had heard the system would be launching in late May or June, and that's fine. That's just a little bit of what he heard about a Switch 2 event combined with some speculation. There's also the rumor from Nintendo about it releasing in June. Okay, cool. We already know all of that, but we have some other information to add to this, and this comes from Necro Felipe Lima at Universal Nintendo, who's quoting this legacy person who has a contact at a retail outlet in France, and there's some interesting stuff happening here. So let's head on over. So, according to a source, and we're using obviously translating Portuguese here, according to a source from Micromania, French retail, Nintendo, this is Nintendo. This is not the retail management being like, oh yeah, well, you have to work and you have to do this. No, this is Nintendo intervening. Nintendo is not allowing its sales team, so Nintendo's own sales team, to go on vacation between March and May 2025. This could be indicative of Switch 2's release window. Now, remember, the release window that's often been speculated has been, well, Q1 of the next fiscal year, which is April, May, and June. But this is not including March. Now, why would Nintendo's sales team not be able to take any vacation days or any time off during those 3 months? Well, obviously because they're planning to sell a ton of Nintendo Switch 2s. Now, does that mean it's going to come out in March? Does that mean it's going to come out in April? We don't know. That would kind of make sense because if it released in late March or early April, then you have that sales team working all the way through May. You kind of get through all the launch stuff, and then maybe you could take some time off during the summer. But also, what if it's launching in May and they need the sales team in place to handle all of the pre-order business going on in March and April, and then the system comes out in May and they manage that a little bit, and then they're letting employees take off in June. So again, this is just something obviously to keep in mind. I can't corroborate any of the stuff when it comes to Nintendo, especially Nintendo of Europe, not allowing their sales team to take any time off in those 3 months, which that does happen in a lot of business. Any of you guys that have worked any sort of 9 to 5 or any sort of standard job out there know there are periods during the year where, hey, your time off requests are just kind of rejected. You're not really allowed to take that time off unless it's a extenuating circumstance, like, in a medical emergency or birth of a child, kind of stuff like that. But otherwise, for the most part, you have to work through during certain periods. There's a lot of companies right now during this November, December, January period where, hey, it's actually mandatory overtime in some professions. So yeah, let alone getting time off. So just throwing that out there that this is something being said now by somebody who seems fairly credible, but I can't corroborate and I don't know. So we're going to call that part a bit of a rumor that Nintendo won't let their staff off during that time period. But it does kind of line up a little bit with what Nate the Hate said, at least with the May stuff. I also doesn't corroborate, but it lands with other rumors that said the system's going to come out in March. Again, I don't know anything about when the system's going to come out. And I think all the details that we're going to need to know, if it's March, April, May, or June, I think the January reveal of the system will give us, bare minimum, the month the system's coming out. It might even give us an exact release date, to be fair. They could end the whole trailer, the whole reveal with, the actual review, the release date and stuff. Or maybe it just teases the month. We don't know, but I'm fairly confident the reveal will basically tell us exactly when the system is coming. So we're not going to have to wait long to know if it's a March, April, May, or June. Those are obviously the months that we've thought for a while were the most likely. But yes, folks, I can corroborate our very first part of this video about a January reveal. Now, what do I expect to be at this reveal? Well, yes, the launch game for Switch 2 should be in there. I also think the holiday game for Switch 2 will be in there. I think there'll be a tease for the holiday game. I think there's going to probably be roughly 3, maybe 4 first-party teases in this reveal trailer. But then I think the rest of it's really going to focus on a couple other things. One, a couple different features with Switch 2 that aren't currently on the present Switch. And then third-party AAA. I do feel like there's going to be a big emphasis on the kind of games Nintendo couldn't get in the past. Now, when you think about this, yes, could there be something like Witcher 4 in there? Sure. I doubt Witcher 4 would be in the reveal. It's going to be something that's actually coming out in 2025. So I can see things like Call of Duty finally making an appearance in there. We know that, like, what is it? Like Assassin's Creed Shadows was delayed to February. Maybe they decided to show that game in there. They weren't at the Game Awards, so I kind of feel like, that might be an opportunity, and it'd be a really big get for Switch 2. They could end up showing off other games as well. Let me think, like, what's a major company? Maybe like some sort of Star Wars game from EA. I know that they seem to be working on a Star Wars game, so maybe something from there. Maybe, gosh, what else could there be there? A Far Cry game from Ubisoft. Maybe GTA 6, right? We didn't get the GTA 6 trailer, so maybe GTA 6 is in here. I think that would be a huge get for Nintendo, and they clearly would want that in the launch trailer, but also I don't think GTA 6 would realistically be on Nintendo Switch 2 for probably a year or two at best. So, because I think it's going to launch on PlayStation 5 exclusively first, because it always seems to do that. I don't know if they have a deal. They must have some sort of deal with Sony where they launch first on PlayStation, then bring it to everywhere else like a year or two later. That really does feel like some sort of contract they must have in place. But anyways, point is, I expect this reveal to be massive. I expect there to be a bunch of games in it that we never thought were possible on Switch are now on Switch 2. We see Switch 2 versions of some of those games. They end up looking utterly amazing. I mean, what if EA brings like Madden or something that was never on Nintendo Switch, but now we have the real version with full cross-gen. I also feel like once the reveal trailer happens, when this reveal thing happens, the floodgates open even more. Like, we already think the floodgates are open with leaks. Well, the official floodgates open upon reveal, because from that point forward, third parties will be allowed to announce their games anytime they feel like it, because now the game's officially confirmed. So now they could drop new trailers that would have the Nintendo Switch 2 logo and whatever in it. They could just straight up drop Twitter announcements and everything else. Pretty much the floodgates open. The third-party accessory makers that are doing things now, well, what if like the official partner ones like PowerA starts dropping like, hey, we have new controllers for launch of Switch 2 with the Switch 2 logo on it, and like, one's themed around the launch game and all that stuff. That marketing can happen. Nintendo's own marketing cycle will begin as well, where they'll probably start consistently marketing Switch 2 all the time. Like every week there'll be something that they'll bring up about Switch 2 just to keep the conversation going. And obviously this isn't getting ahead of things. Like there could be a February Direct. We already know there's a rumored one according to PH Brazil. But beyond that, Super Bowl commercial could be like a really big time for them to advertise Nintendo Switch 2. And there could be lots of other events coming up. Like I think Nintendo's probably going to have some in-person events for people to go hands-on, maybe even at PAX East or other traveling events or other events out in Europe and other places. So I do think that Nintendo has a clear plan, and I think the plan truly kicks off in January. I know we've had a lot of leaks. I'm sure Nintendo's not very happy about the 3D scan getting out there to these accessory makers. The ninjas have maybe already taken care of business with that. I don't know. But this is a little different. All right, folks. January seems like a lock based on the things I'm being told from a major third-party publisher that corroborates exactly what Nintendo Talk was told. So we're going to sit back and see what happens. All I know is, if my hype was here, it's now up here, baby. It's off the camera. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever they call this damn thing. January, baby. January 2025. Get ready for a reveal, folks. It's gonna be a hard way, dude. These days counting down to Christmas just got a little bit longer because I have to wait for a week after that to get to January, and then the speculation begins on what week is it. I guess we'll see. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Rovajets from Nintendo Prime, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.